Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Somewhat Scholarly. My name is Alan Hibbard, and today we are exploring three questions: when moon, when Lambo, when $100,000 per Bitcoin. And the short answer, in my opinion, is pretty soon. You'll see in just a second. I'm going to do a little analysis for you. But at the end, if I remember, I'm going to answer these questions a little bit differently at the very end. So let's actually do something different today, and instead of using the whiteboard, we're going to use Excel. So let me see if I can pull up Excel without breaking my computer. Okay. So if you guys can see this, we are looking at the price of Bitcoin. And when viewed in this way on a linear chart, you know, it only goes up to 25,000. $100,000 per coin is nowhere in sight. I mean, quite literally, right? The chart doesn't go that high. So it would seem far-fetched if we just look at the price in this particular way. It's like, okay, 100,000, that's, you know, that's impossible, right? It's like a pie in the sky thing. By the way, that reminds me, is Bitcoin a bubble? Well, we've got this Tulip Mania chart right here. If you guys haven't seen the video I did, Is Bitcoin a Bubble? Check it out. I'll put that link in the description. Basically, I compared Bitcoin's price throughout its history to the Tulip Mania and showed how similar it was so many times and where it's different. So check that out. But I do not think Bitcoin is in a bubble. However, we can't just look at the price in a linear way because we can't see anything that's going on in like the first half of its life. So typically, we view Bitcoin's price on a log chart, which looks like this. So the nice thing about a log chart is that we can see what happened when Bitcoin was young and trading at really low prices. So back here, this chart actually starts at 5 cents. This is really like the first time that Bitcoin had an actual price in the marketplace. But of course, there was a time when Bitcoins were worth less than a penny each, or, you know, when they started out, they were worth nothing, so to speak, because no one was willing to pay dollars for them. So anyways, the first time we really got a price was in July of 2010, and Bitcoins were 5 cents each. It's crazy. They've come a long way. Obviously, now, this data point here is yesterday. Yesterday was Friday. Yes, Friday, November 20th, 2020, and Bitcoin closed, so to speak, at 18,600 and change. So anyways, come a long way from 5 cents. So we do have to use the information on a log chart if we want to understand Bitcoin's price. Okay, we definitely need to look at it this way because otherwise we can't see anything. So if you don't know how to read a log chart, basically we multiply by the same number every time we go up a fixed distance. So on a linear chart, we add the same number. So we add 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. That's adding. On a log chart, we multiply. In this case, we're multiplying by 10. Multiply by 10, multiply by 10, multiply by 10, and that's why we keep adding a 0. So anyways, a log chart is nice because we can see all this information. However, it's not very intuitive. Like if we look at this price correction from whatever this was, okay, $29 down here, it's really hard to tell at a glance what the percentage drop is. Like, okay, did it lose half of its value or 3/4 or what was it? And in this case, going from 29 down to $2, I mean, that's like 90 something percent. So anyways, that's a huge drawdown. But if you just look at it, it doesn't look like that. It looks like, I don't know, maybe 35%, 40%. So anyways, my whole point in showing this is that I'm going to present to you guys a chart that combines the information on a log chart with the intuition of a linear chart. Okay, so I'm going to combine the two into like my own version of a chart. I think it will be clear once I show it to you. So hang on. So let's color these. Okay. So now we've got some colorations here. You see blue, red, black, green, and then it repeats blue, red, black, green, and then blue, and so forth. So how did I color this? First of all, basically each cycle. Sort of like each bull run, but you'll notice that every single data point is colored, even the bear markets, even like the bear runs, so even the drawdowns. So I've defined a cycle here as starting at a previous all-time high, or starting at an all-time high, and then including the drawdown, the build-up, and then the establishment of a new all-time high. So down and all the way up back to its previous level, and then up to a new all-time high. And then it repeats, and we use a new color. And so in this case, red, so from previous all-time high down to however far it goes, and then up to a new all-time high, then a new color, and so on. So I'm sort of just defining it my own way. It's not necessarily like the conventional way that a bull market or a bear market are treated in like conventional finance. Usually the cutoff is up 20% or down 20%, but Bitcoin does that in a day. So it wouldn't really make sense to say like, oh, today it's in a bear market, tomorrow it's in a bull market, oh, today it's in a bear market. It just doesn't make any sense. So this is the method I've chosen. I think you'll see why in a second. Really what I want to do is if I'm going to predict the future, or try, right? Like when does it go to 100,000 or 500,000 or whatever? I want to look at the past and say like, okay, what has it done historically? Are there any patterns here? Like what can we expect going forward, instead of just like closing our eyes and hoping? So these are the patterns that I've come up with. And by the way, just to see what they look like on the linear scale, it looks like this. It looks sort of chaotic and like there's no rhyme or reason to it. And most of these patterns are just completely flat. Nothing's going on. However, let's combine, like I said, let's combine this log chart with the linear chart so that we have all the information of each cycle, but with the intuition of a linear chart so we can see at a glance what the percentages up and down actually are. And this is what it looks like. These are all those cycles starting at 1x, right, indexed to 1 at the beginning of its cycle, and then whatever it goes up to by the end. So you can see this first cycle, whatever the price started at, we know it's 5 cents because we just looked. It goes up by a factor of 7.2, and then a new cycle starts. And then, we re-index that same point to 1, and then it goes down and it goes up, almost triple, 2.944 in this case. And then from there, we index the same point to 1, and we see what it does, and so on. So every one of these cycles starts at 1, drops down whatever the distance is, right, almost to 0, but never quite gets there, obviously, regains back to 1, and then shoots up to a certain height. So when I first did this, I couldn't believe it. I swore out loud. It's kind of crazy. So anyways, I think this is like an unbelievable way of viewing Bitcoin's price. Absolutely unbelievable. And you can see that what it does, once it establishes a new all-time high, it has this crazy, painful drawdown. And this one here, you can see, I don't know if I can find the lowest point here, but it went from 1 down to 0.078, which means it lost, 92.2%? It lost over 90%. Over 90% of the price went down. And this is when everyone thought, okay, Bitcoin's dying, right? It's going to 0. The bubble has burst. Game over. But obviously it didn't. And not only did it recover its previous price, which means it had to go up by more than a factor of 10 just to get there, but then it shot up by another factor of 7, right? We're not talking about gaining like 7%. We're talking about going up 7 times, right, which is a gain of 600%. But anyways, from the bottom here, this particular cycle, to the top, it went up more than 100x. From the bottom to the top, more than 100x. That's crazy. That's crazy. So like if we look at back here, that's this blue one here. From the bottom to top, it's basically 2 lines. So yeah, from right here, that's 10, that's 100. So geez, super crazy, guys, super crazy. So anyways, what do I think is going to happen next? Well, I think we've gone through most of the painful drawdown, and we're almost back at the previous all-time high. We're at a level that's 95.5% of the previous all-time high. So we're like almost back there. Whatever that price was, just shy of 20,000, 19 and change. I think we're going to go completely vertical, like real soon. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe tomorrow. So like real soon, I think we're going to go completely vertical. And if you look at the height of these bars, right, 3x, 4x, 7x, if we make it to 5x, that's 100,000 right there. So like if we just go vertical to 5x, that's 100,000. That's like nothing. That's so reasonable. It sounds ridiculous. Like when we were looking at this, it's like, 100,000 is nowhere in sight. Like it only goes up to 25, pie in the sky. But when you look at it this way, and it just like, okay, probably go up 5x. And if we look at it here, I mean, 100,000's right there. I mean, that's nothing. Just, again, might not do it tomorrow or next week, but it might. And I don't know. I'd say, like, conservatively, I don't know, sometime in 2021. I mean, it could be like February, could be November. I mean, obviously it might not happen, but I do think pretty strongly that it will. So anyway, so what am I going to do with this knowledge? Basically, my plan is to, so I don't know how high it's going to go. That's kind of the first thing. Maybe I should comment on this black-green combination. Hang on. This black-green combination almost should just be a single bull market. It almost should be a single color. So if we look here, if you see this black and the green, there's really no reason to make this a separate color. It really is a continuation of the same bull market. Totally fine. I mean, you could make that claim. The reason I split it up is because if I kept it as one bull market, you can see it did more than 4x in both of these cases. 4 times 4 is 16. So if I kept it as one bull market, it would go all the way up to 16x, and it would be off the charts, and it would mean I would have to squish all these a lot smaller, and I just didn't want to do that. So the reason I broke it up is literally so it fits on the chart, not because of any, logic to it. So anyways, this gigantic bull market went up is really about a factor of 17. Like, the price of Bitcoin was 1,150 about, and as we know, it went to approximately 20,000. Okay, 19.4. I mean, that's like 17x. 17x. Yeah, it took 3 years to get there, but 17x. 17x. That's crazy. I mean, it absolutely could do that again. If it goes 17x from its previous all-time high of 20, for sake of round numbers, 20 times 17 is 340,000. Guys, 340,000. If it just repeats this, 17x, 17x, 340,000. And that would put it, halfway between 100,000 and a million on a log scale, right? It'd just be halfway between the two lines. So that seems completely plausible. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's going to happen or that it's a certainty to happen in the next bull market, because obviously I have no idea, but that's totally reasonable. So I think in the coming bull market that probably already started, I mean, look at this. We've basically retaken. We're basically right there. I think 100,000 is like a low estimate. 340,000 is probably a high estimate. So I'd call it 200,000. I mean, that's so crazy, but that's what Bitcoin does. Like, it's still an infant. It's still a baby. Most people in the world don't have Bitcoin. They still think it's weird. They still think it's a bubble. They don't understand what it is. And with every new bull market, more and more people enter Bitcoin, which is why it goes up like a rocket, completely vertical, because they are afraid of missing out, right? They FOMO. And I think that's going to happen again. You're going to get a lot of retail people, a lot of institutions, a lot of businesses, and I think this bull run is going to be the biggest in terms of volume, not necessarily the biggest in terms of like price gains. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin has already broken its all-time record high in market cap. At the end of the previous bull run, it was, I think, 315 billion. Now it's about 350 billion. So almost 10% higher, I think, already, which is crazy. And if you look at what happens when we overtake our previous price, I mean, just look at any of these cycles. Like, look at the red one. Once it once it gets back to back to 1x, it just goes straight vertical. Same with the black. Once it gets back, straight vertical. Same with the green. Same with the blue. Same with the red. And you can see that vertical movement starts even lower, right? Even lower than 1x. It just goes vertical. In the black cycle here, a little bit of difficulty up and down, but it made it through. Green vertical. I think we could just go vertical here. We might struggle. We might, bump our heads there once or twice, but I mean, it's going up. So anyways, so let me go back here. I do want to answer these questions in a slightly different way, and I do want to tell you guys what my plan is. So they're sort of related. So when Moon, here's what I would say, is if Moon, in my opinion, Moon is when you're sort of out of this world mentally. So if you're still thinking in terms of dollars or whatever your government fiat currency is, you're not at Moon yet. Moon is when you stop thinking about dollars. Like, you don't even want the dollars. So, like, no matter how high Bitcoin goes, you're not like, oh, goody, I get a lot of dollars now, right? Moon is when you don't even think that way. You just want the Bitcoins. Okay, so the answer to when moon, that's going to be different for every single person. I feel like I personally am kind of close because most days I just think about how many Bitcoins I have. I don't even care about the dollar price. And even when I do an analysis like this, it's only interesting to me when the price goes up because I can sell out of Bitcoins and get back in at a lower price. And that, like, you know, so if I sell, for example, at 100,000, you know, and then I buy back in at 50, right, during one of these corrections where it goes down big time, you know, I can double my number of Bitcoins. That's what I want to do. I just want to like double my number of Bitcoins over and over and over again at the bottom of all these cycles. So anyways, that's what I'm going to do with mine. So if Bitcoin hits 100,000, which I think will be very soon, and by the way, we could blow right through it. If I feel like we're going super vertical, then okay, I get out of Bitcoin, I get a whole bunch of dollars, and then I just wait for it to correct massively, which might be a year later. You know, some of these corrections are like 3-year long corrections. And then I just buy back in at 50 or 30 or whatever. Or if we blow right through 100, right, if we're going super vertical and we go to 200, okay, I sell out at 200, and then it'll correct down to 100, and then I buy in at 100, and that's how I double my Bitcoins. So anyways, so when moon, that's sort of up to you. That's like a mindset shift. It's not really going to be a dollar price of Bitcoin. When Lambo, never. Because you don't ever want to buy a Lambo. You don't ever want to buy a Lambo with dollars or Bitcoins. It's like a really bad investment. So this is up to you. This is never. This is very soon. Very soon. So anyways, hopefully that was helpful for you guys. My next video is going to be 10 reasons why I'm super bullish on Bitcoin. It's going to be more qualitative. It's going to be about the macro environment. It's going to be about people's sentiment. It's going to be about different things happening in the world. And by the way, I think I mentioned today is November 21st, 2020. We're still in the middle of counting votes for the presidential election. It's been 18 days already. We still don't know who won. I mean, you know, mainstream media is saying Biden, but the Trump team is putting up, you know, all kinds of resistance to that. So we'll see what happens. But Bitcoin doesn't care who is president. Bitcoin does not care. So anyways, my next video is going to be top 10 reasons why I'm super bullish on Bitcoin. So if you want to see that video, make sure you subscribe. And, you know, you might want to hit the notification bell if you're into that sort of thing. But if not, that's okay too. So thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.